Do you hear it? The echoes of the past, the whispers of forgotten truths, fragments of memories lost in the shadows. Welcome to Brainrot, Echoes, where we bring you stories long buried, unravel mysteries cloaked by time, and guide you through the darkest corners of the mind and the universe. Each video is more than just content. It's an echo resonating deep within, urging you to question, to wonder, to explore. Backend index pointing right, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join us in listening to the echoes the world tried to silence. Part 1. The Fateful Assignment. Beneath the dark purple sky of planet Kleiser, the light of two moons cast cold, silver streaks across the towers of ZEYN'S Academy. It was a quiet night, but inside the Academy's grand lecture hall, the murmurs of hundreds of students echoed, thick with anticipation. Once a year, the Planetary Studies class was given its greatest assignment, to research and analyze one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. On the podium, Professor Tar, an aged sailor, his silver beard shimmering like stardust, surveyed the class with deep-set eyes. His voice resounded, low and commanding. The galaxy is vast, my students, but it is also full of perils. This assignment is not about grades. It is a test of intellect, courage, and ethics. Choose your planet. And remember this, sometimes when you stare too long into the abyss stares back into you. A three-dimensional screen flickered to life. Hundreds of planets in hues of red, black, purple, and blue, their names chilling to read. Raxur, the planet of eternal storms, Xiphon, where the winds devour flesh and bone, quarries, the land without light. The room buzzed with excitement. Some students quickly chose familiar names, worlds that had been studied for years. But in the corner, a small student with bright eyes, his irises shimmering sky blue, quietly fixed his gaze on a symbol on the screen. Terra 3/Earth. The name was shrouded in dated dust. Only a blinking red warning remained. Do not approach. Deathworld. Recommended. Exclude from all exploration missions. ZEYN, that student, gave a faint smile. Throughout his years at the Academy, he'd always been seen as the odd one. While others were captivated by formulas or simulated battles, ZEYN lost himself in the library, reading about ancient planets, forgotten civilizations, and mysteries no one dared touch. ZEYN raised his hand. Professor Tar, I choose Terra 3. The room fell silent. 1 second. 2. Then snickers erupted from the back. Are you crazy, ZEYN? Planning to become monster food? Think you're some fairy tale hero? Professor Tar did not laugh. He gazed at ZEYN for a long moment, then slowly descended from the podium and stood before him. Terra 3 is no longer a planet. It is the fear that this galaxy once bore. Do you understand that? ZEYN nodded, his voice steady. That's exactly why I want to know the truth. Why is it called Deathworld? Why does no one dare go near it? The professor's eyes darkened. He placed a hand on ZEYN's shoulder, his voice as soft as the night breeze. May your curiosity not lead you to the fate of those who came before. That night, as his classmates slept soundly, ZEYN quietly entered the Academy's scout ship hangar. There, an old ship sat forgotten, its paint peeling, the XR-7, insignia barely visible on its hull. Once a great exploration vessel of a previous generation, it was now nothing more than rusting scrap. ZEYN activated the startup sequence. The engine groaned and trembled violently, but gradually steadied. The control panel flickered, its pale blue glow reflected on his face. Beyond the cockpit window, the sky of Kleiser stretched out, mysterious and infinite. He took a deep breath, whispering, Terra 3, Earth, I will find the answer. And the XR-7 slowly departed, plunging into the darkness of space, carrying one small life toward the greatest mystery of the galaxy. Part 2. Approaching Earth. The XR-7 spacecraft cut its path through the darkness of space. Ahead of its nose, streams of cosmic dust shimmered like silver mist, and beyond them lay the region marked in red on every galactic map. the ancient solar system, cradle of Earth, Terra 3. Zane sat silently in the cockpit, the light of the control panel dancing across his tense face. The sensors vibrated faintly, signaling anomalies as the ship neared the forbidden zone. His blue eyes stared into the distant void, where a pale bluish dot slowly took form. Terra 3, he whispered. But Earth no longer resembled the ancient descriptions he had read. The planet's surface was blotched with black burn scars. Thick gray dust clouds smothered the sky, and the sun, pale and cracked like an aging iron orb, barely shone through. The atmosphere flickered with strange lights, like fractures in a giant mirror on the verge of shattering. A shrill alarm blared in the cockpit. Warning, unstable magnetic field. Unknown energy wave approaching. Before Zane could react, a colossal plasma storm burst from the planet's surface, a fiery cyclone that bent space itself. The XR-7 rocked violently, its electronics flickering chaotically. An anomalous force dragged the ship into low orbit, defying Zane's desperate attempts to break free. No, this can't be happening. Zane gritted his teeth, his trembling hands clenching the controls. But the plasma storm, like a living creature, seized the ship and pulled it into the planet's torn atmosphere. Through the cockpit window, Zane saw ancient satellites adrift, shattered hulls, rusting metal, remnants of civilization long dead. A piece of debris drifted past the nose of the ship. A plaque, its letters nearly faded. Saturn, NASA. Zane's heart pounded. This was the trace of humanity he had read about in ancient texts. But why had it all fallen to ruin? What had destroyed them? The ship slammed into the atmosphere. Frictional heat ignited the hull, turning it into a blazing meteor tearing through the dark gray sky. The auto system deployed heat shields, but the electromagnetic storm's roar made the cockpit shudder as if about to burst apart. Zane tightened his harness, cold sweat soaking his brow. A deafening crash shook the XR-7 as it slammed into a desolate plain. Dust and rock erupted skyward, cloaking the world in a choking haze. The ship tipped on its side, sparks shooting from cracked hull plates. Gasping for breath, Zane forced open the cockpit hatch. Before him stretched a scene of suffocating desolation, the ruins of an ancient city. Collapsed buildings twisted as if crushed by a giant hand, fractured roads scorched and dry. In the distance, a colossal stone monument lay toppled, its once mysterious face half buried in ash. No life, no sound, only the wind's mournful wail through the fissures of the wreckage, like the weeping of ghosts from a distant past. Zane stepped out carefully, his legs trembling as they sank into the thick gray dust that may once have been the ashes of life. The thought sent a chill through him. He activated his bioscanner. The screen filled with erratic waveforms. No signs of living creatures, but radiation levels were unusually high. Evidence of a nuclear catastrophe or something even worse. Zane muttered, "This is the Deathworld, but the reason is still hidden. I have to find it." He looked up at the dark sky, where the strange light of the dying sun still flickered behind the dust veil. The plasma storm had calmed for now, but Zane knew this was only the beginning of the truth he sought. Part 3. The First Clues. The dusty wind still howled through the rubble, blowing fine gray ash like the sands of a dead desert. Zane gripped his scanner tighter, moving cautiously through humanity's wreckage. Beneath his feet lay the shattered fragments of a civilization that once reached for the stars, now reduced to rubble and rust. The sight choked him. Towers that once scraped the heavens now lay twisted, like dry trees snapped by a storm. A wide avenue led toward the city's ancient heart, marked by the rusting tracks of giant war machines. On either side, human monuments lay toppled, stone eyes staring coldly toward a future that would never come. Zane activated his recorder. streaming the scene back to the XR-7. His voice echoed softly through the transmitter. Exploration log. Unnamed city. Coordinates. Latitude 34. Longitude 118. Remnants of a highly advanced technological civilization. Current state. Total collapse. No signs of life. Radiation levels. High but stable. Suddenly, the scanner beeped faster. An unusual energy source emanated from a collapsed building ahead. ZEYN approached. It had once been a data center, its sturdy walls now cracked, steel framework rusting. But inside, something still glowed faintly, a power core pulsing weakly like the dying heart of a machine beast. ZEYN slipped through broken girders and touched the device. A faint shiver ran down his spine as the core activated, projecting a distorted hologram. It showed a human city alive. Towers bright with lights, roads crowded with vehicles, the sky filled with small spacecraft. A woman's voice crackled through the ages. Joint Command Center, Code 001. Today, humanity officially establishes its final space defense network. We have conquered the stars, but with that comes threats we have never faced before. The image shifted. Massive machines, armored legions, space stations bristling with plasma cannons and energy shields. Then explosions, blinding flashes. The feed shook. They're here, we can't stop them. The signal cut out. The hologram dissolved into the air. ZEYN stood frozen, heart pounding. They? Who were they? What had humanity fought and failed against? A dust rain began, tiny ash particles falling from the gray sky. ZEYN pressed deeper into the ruins. He found a road leading underground, a bunker. The hatch had been blown apart, the stairs below shattered. Steeling himself, ZEYN switched on a shoulder lamp and descended. The air reeked of rust and cold. At the bottom, he discovered a sealed chamber where a strange device still glowed. A human scout drone, rusted but intact. He activated it. The drone projected its final recording. Earth's surface consumed by chaos. Giant creatures, 10 times taller than the buildings, roaring, sweeping through cities with horrific bioweapons. These monsters were half machine, half flesh, their red eyes blazing, fangs tearing into structures, streets, everything. Humanity fought back in vain. Missiles, plasma, even nuclear bombs failed against these death machines, hybrids they had created during their scientific golden age. The creatures had turned on their makers, annihilating all. The final image, a human child, empty-eyed, staring up at the burning sky. The drone screen faded to black. ZEYN stumbled back, chest-tight with horror. They made their own monsters. They destroyed themselves. His voice was hoarse. A cold realization struck. This was why Earth was called Deathworld. Not because nature or the cosmos hated it, but because humanity had made itself the god of death. He gazed upward, through the shattered ruins to the dark, tomb-like sky. A shiver ran through him. ZEYN gathered the precious data and made his way back to the XR-7. But just then, his scanner blared an alarm. In the distance, amid the ruins, a strange signal was moving. A large, unknown energy source was approaching. Could something have survived? Part 4. The Survivor's Secret. Night swallowed the remnants of humanity, leaving only the faint beam of ZEYN'S shoulder light glinting off cracked walls, blackened with the scars of ancient wars. The ash rain still fell, coating the XR-7 in a somber gray veil. But ZEYN paid no mind. The strange signal drew closer, strong, uneven, like the heartbeat of a gravely wounded creature. He drew out his analyzer. The screen flashed chaotic numbers. It wasn't a living being, nor was it purely a machine. Something in between, something that had endured millennia of death, amid the rubble of an entire species. A metallic clang echoed in the night. From the darkness of ruin, a massive figure emerged. It was a giant mass of rusted steel, nearly 3 times ZEYN'S height, shaped like a battered ancient knight. Its armor shattered, body scarred, a single red eye glowing faintly like dying embers. Zane instinctively stepped back, heart pounding. But the being did not attack. It knelt, one mechanical arm stretching out as if to shield and protect. A fractured voice crackled through an ancient speaker. Identified, intelligent life form. Not an enemy. Guardian mode, activated. Zane stared, stunned. A defense unit, still loyal to its mission of protecting humanity, though humanity itself no longer remained? What are you? Zane's voice rasped. I am Guardian 13. High-class civil protection unit. Final directive, safeguard the ruins. Await new orders from the Human Council. That mechanical voice echoed in the dead city like a forgotten prayer. Zane swallowed hard, trying to stay calm. There is no council. Humanity is gone. Guardian 13 froze. Its eye flickered wildly, as though the iron heart within had heard a truth that broke it. Confirmed, no council signal. No new directives. Accessing backup data. A panel slid open on its chest. Inside was a data core, a priceless treasure, holding the final memories of humankind. Guardian 13 bowed its head. Bearer of wisdom, behold. This is humanity's last message. Zane's trembling hand activated the core. A flickering hologram appeared. A woman, a human commander, silver-haired, eyes weary but resolute, stood in a command center bathed in red warning lights. Her voice rang out, strong yet filled with sorrow. If you see this message, it means we have failed. We, humanity, created magnificent beings in our quest to master the universe. But that arrogance destroyed us. The scene shifted. Massive machines, biomechanical creatures, once mankind's tools, now turning on their creators. Cities collapsed. Oceans evaporated. The sky became red with fire. We made Earth our own tomb. We sought to become gods, but became our own demons. She looked straight ahead, across thousands of years, into Zeyn's very soul. To whoever finds this memory, do not follow our path. Do not turn your world into another death world. The image faded. Guardian 13 bowed lower, as if awaiting an order, but only silence remained. Zeyn stood motionless in the dusty wind. The truth was clear at last. Earth was not a death world because it was inherently deadly. It became death world because humanity made it so. And now, the greatest question weighed upon Zeyn's mind. What would he do with this truth? Underscore. Underscore. Part 5. Zeyn's choice. Earth's ground trembled in waves, as if its ruined heart stirred from a nightmare lasting 1,000 years. In the distance, a black dust cloud rose, blotting out the ashen sky. Zeyn's scanner blared. Massive energy source, approaching fast. Guardian 13 stepped before Zeyn, its rusted frame creaking, eye glowing brighter than ever. They did not die. They slept but now awaken. Zeyn stared ahead, eyes straining at the darkness. A monstrous form took shape, a creature of machine and flesh, towering dozens of times over Guardian 13. Its steel armor was torn, exposing shriveled muscle, yet its eyes still blazed, a fire of hate unquenched through millennia. The dust-laden wind howled, carrying the monster's roar as it advanced, each step crushing the ruins beneath it. Guardian 13 roared back, charging like the final wave of a dead city, striking with a fractured iron fist. The impact echoed through the wasteland, but the monster only staggered, then swatted Guardian aside like a scrap of paper. The protector crashed into the ruins, back shattered, its red eye dimming. Zeyn screamed, "No!" Guardian managed one last word. "Protect the memory." The monster turned to Zeyn, its red eyes locked onto him, the gaze of a lost, bloodthirsty race. It growled, a guttural sound that filled the dead air. Zeyn backed toward the XR-7. The ship's hull was warped, but its transmitter still functioned. He glanced at the console. The data, images, logs, humanity's memories, ready to broadcast. But he knew, if he sent the signal galaxy-wide, not just Kleiser, but the entire galaxy would hear. The truth would spread, but so might the terror awakening on Earth, following the signal into the stars. Or he could destroy it all, burn the data, let humanity's memory be buried forever. No one would repeat the mistake, but no one would learn from it either. The monster took another step. The ground shook. Dust clouds whirled into a storm, swallowing the last pale light of the dying sun. In the beast's red eyes, ZEYN'S saw pain, rage, and the void of a species that destroyed itself. He placed his hand on the transmitter. One press, and the truth would escape its deep grave. ZEYN closed his eyes. His voice whispered through the dying wind. No, memory must not be buried. Whatever the cost, the universe must know. He pressed the button. A beam of blue light shot from the XR-7, piercing the dust veil, ripping open the black sky. The data streamed into space, crossing stars, spreading to distant galaxies. The monster roared and lunged at the XR-7, but ZEYN no longer retreated. He stepped forward, eyes blazing with his final conviction. I do not fear you. I do not fear memory. Fear is what made us monsters. Attendre explosion. A burst of blinding light. No one knows whether ZEYN survived or turned to ash with the XR-7, but his signal traveled the stars. On distant worlds, alien scientists gazed skyward, receiving Earth's message. Humanity's memory, tragic and heroic, became a warning echoing across the universe. Milky Way final word. Deathworld was not a place cursed by the cosmos. It was a place humanity cursed itself, himself, and leave a final message for those who come after. Epilogue. Those who heard. In the cold void between the stars, ZEYN'S signal drifted silently. A stream of data, a thread of memory in blue light, crossed the endless black of space, passed through cosmic dust clouds, pierced plasma storms, and reached places where Earth's light had never touched. Shooting star on the planet Kleiser. In the observatory of Zayler Academy, Professor Tark silently watched the signal screen where the image of ruined Earth appeared and ZEYN'S voice echoed. If you see this message, please remember, do not repeat Earth's path. Do not turn your home into another death world. Be humble before what you create. Tark closed his eyes. A tear rolled down his aged face, falling onto the cold control panel. Shooting star on the planet Varnes, where living machines rule. The leaders of Varnes, a species of pure machinery, halted all activity. Humanity's data stream seeped into their systems, bringing images of biomechanical creatures destroying their own creators. A council of red lights flickered, silent, as they exchanged glances. For the first time in tens of thousands of cycles, they asked, will we end the same? Shooting star on the planet Savalis, a world of peace and knowledge. The sages gathered around the data wall. They listened to humanity's choking cries, the roars of monsters, the wind carrying ash through the dead city. And they engraved ZEYN'S words upon the largest monument of their world. Memory is a warning. No one escapes the mirror of history. Shooting star aboard an unnamed wandering vessel, drifting between galaxies. An alien child, with large silver eyes, gazed at the signal screen. It did not understand all of ZEYN'S words, but in those eyes flickered the fire of a truth. Arrogance always has a price. And in the void, dead Earth continued to spin in darkness. Beneath its layers of ash, its memory was no longer buried. It had flown free, becoming the eternal echo of a species that once dreamed of godhood and made itself a demon.